Good morning, my good friends, wherever you are in this big world. This is Dr. Thierry, and oops, I forgot to close the door. So give me a second. I'm gonna close the door. Yeah, I wear my pajama. I am at home. That's for my critics. All right, guys. Now, okay. First thing. I'm sure you know that. I hope you do. Mercury is retrograde. This little tiny planet is creating a hell of a lot of havocs in every business on this planet, including, of course, the Human Origin Conference 2020, which I was supposed to attend. It has been canceled. You know, it's important to remember, my friend, when Mercury is retrograde, all the plan that you have made will not work, especially during his reverse motions like now. Thus, it is important to plan outside of those windows. So you can avoid all the stress, the money wasted, the problem, the depression, the frustration, and all that goes with the Mercury retrograde. The reality is 99.9% of the people walking planet Earth are not cosmic conscious. So they throw their conference when they feel like, right? The next thing you know, there you go. But you know what? He does not stop there. Right now, we have tens of thousands of students at our schools at St. Paul Educator because there is a strike. Again, you know, it is important to know that Mercury rules teaching, the teachers, communication, transportation, books, college, university. Yet, the Department of Education, the US Department of Education, which is mostly made of educated, religious, or atheist, scientific idiots, okay, are not accepting my students, or me for that matter, and offering our cosmic teaching. So that's to let you know what's going on as far as Mercury is a retrograde. Now, a few things that are important to mention. You will probably see on Facebook a lot of fake news and a lot of posters of psychic mediums, astrologers, or God knows what, tells you, oh, well, we have predicted in 1981 the coronavirus. But I tell you what, my friends, go to that newsletter. The link is always offered to you. Click on the link, look at the pictures of one of those so-called predictions out there. All right, now, it is again important to realize you got to trust the source of information. But before trusting the source of information, you have to investigate, you have to read. You can go and read the warning of virus in 1981 made by a lunatic out there. But if you don't have the books, if you don't have the facts in hands, how can you not know that there is fake news? All right. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm offering the facts, the dated, published on the radio, in my newsletters, on Carrie Cassidy, Project Camelot show. I give you very specific dates and very specific predictions, my friend. Now, there are people who say, well, you know what, Dr. Thierry, you never mention your mistakes or missing out some of your predictions. Well, guess what? When I was on your show, I says in 2 or 3 days, I'm expecting an earthquake at or above 6.0. Well, that is a failure. My prediction didn't come pass. But the very next day, we had a 5.9. And yesterday, I think we had the 5.something, 8 in California. Is that close enough to hit or not? Well, you know what? You might trust the Indian scientists' electronic equipment or Draco channeling. Fact of the matter is, words for words, mathematically, logically, rationally speaking, the 6.0 did not take place, or it did, but the instrument didn't read it properly. See, so it works. But I think a 5.9 is pretty close, isn't it? Doesn't happen every day. All right. Now, if you're skeptical about my earthquake prediction, again, you have a link here. You just check the email exchange with myself and the USGS, NASA in Pasadena, Seismology Institute of Pasadena. You can go. That was my first earthquake predictions ever. God thanks I had the idea then to save that email. And you could do a deja vu research if you don't believe me, because I don't write my own endorsement or make my own predictions or change them to fit my work. He's there. Go and click on the link. Check my very first earthquake prediction, my friends, and see if I'm real or not. All right. And then you have those idiots out there. You know, Mercury is retrograde, so affairs and people of the past will always come back. We had this guy here, IN5D, I don't know, who wrote, the only thing that exceeds Thury's narcissism is ego. All right. Well, you know what? I don't even have to defend myself, but if you're curious to know what happened with this lunatic and me, just click on the link. It's live and read the experience that took place years ago. But you know what? You do not want to dismiss my true supporters, because many of them are going to behave like ferocious, fearful pit bulls, and they will fight for the truth ever present. All right. To that, I say thank you guys for taking care of me. I'll take care of you. So, of course, there's also a productive, progressive, positive email that I receive also. So there you go. Just read all that and have fun, my friend. All right. Now, another thing. On Carrie's Cassidy show, I also gave a few dates to those of you who did not listen to the show. And I think 13,000 people or close to that and counting have been hearing me. So the first date I gave was March 13th, second was March 20th, third, March 31st, and Draco told me to add March 27th. All right, so I'm not gonna put all this in one newsletter. So this newsletter is called Coronavirus, SOS to the World, March 13, 2020, Project Camelot Predictions. And they're going to be 1, 2, and 3 of those newsletters. This is the first one. So, like always, you will see my quatrain. You know, I use quatrain. And unlike Nostradamus 500 years ago, nowadays there is no French Inquisition who wants to burn me on the stake. Even though that you have all these insecure people, envious people who carry a very serious dose of inferiority complex that would attack my ego. So read the quatrain, and the first words that you will see in the obvious keywords is Russia. So I look at the news today, and there is already this window is really, really fast moving into reality. So I took 2 pieces of news that involve Russia. So the first word is Russia in the keywords, and then in the news today, US and Canadian jets intercept Russian reconnaissance aircraft off Alaska, and why Russia and Putin are waging an oil war with America. So the links are live. Again, remember, I don't care less about the news. All I'm trying to tell you is for you to be aware that a plutonic window is deadly. It's critical for you to realize that the reptilians are now in their, what's the words? In their beautiful zone where they're going to do a lot of damages as much as possible. So, as mentioned on Kerry's show, expect news about Russia. Just mention them. Police. If you know somebody in the police, a friend, or if you are a cop yourself, be careful. You may not make it. The reptilians are directly concerned and interested with the police. So maybe, I hope I'm wrong, but maybe a cop's gonna get killed out there, or maybe a cop's gonna kill an innocent, law-obedient citizen. I also mentioned terrorism, and I don't want the FBI to come and knock at my door again. They did it twice so far, because I give dates for terrorism, and then they think I'm a sleeping cell. All right, okay. Be careful of the facts that I represent, because you're gonna get a wake-up call, because it's time for wake-up call. Crazy people may decide to get a gun and kill everybody. Be careful where you go and what you do. And oh God knows, there's so much warning that I gave my Patreon and my VIPs. So I can only give you so much because I am concerned for your safety. Remember, we had SARS, we had all sorts of disease in the past. And of course, every one of those diseases were predicted well ahead of time. Okay, so why now, when Mercury is retrograde, why do we have all these viruses? And especially the one that I mentioned for the future will be a sexually transmitted disease. That will definitely take a lot of people. You know, you got to listen to the show. When I channeled Draco, maybe a year and a half, 2 years from now, I don't know, I can't remember what I channeled when I was in the show. But all I can tell you is that Russia is about to completely die in rebirth. Not only Russia, but area of the world that are controlled by Pluto, which is the base of the reptilians, which are directly aiming for those countries. So Iran, Russia, North Korea. I mean, you're talking about things that I see that are not exactly nice. And I told you to wait for this specific window to realize the importance of my vision and my prediction, and most of all, share them with people so you can help me to save lives. Because when everything is said and done, I'm going to go back to this newsletter, as I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to give you all the rest of the story, not just Russia. No, there are going to be all sorts of negative news, and I don't want you to be part of the statistics. That's why I'm here, to help you, to guide you. Now, there is much more, but it all depends how much you want to trust me and how much you want to put into me. So either become a VIP, or if you can spare $5, well, become a Patreon. Show your support for Dr. Cherry and read all the information that I gave you about this very specific SOS to the world, which is very deadly. And most of all, my natural health tips so that you don't get coronavirus. Okay, let's summarize again, because that's what it comes down to. If you understand the rules and my philosophy, again, to those who just jumped in this video or do not know about me, there is only two forces in life, positive and negative. Up and down, black and white, the front, the back, God, devil, yin and yang, positive, negative. Okay, twice, two arms, two hands, two sides of the brain. Again, don't look for extraterrestrial far, my friend. They are here. Reptile mind, Draconis mind. The nasty reptilians are about to use those very deadly, very negative cosmic biorhythm, universal, not yours on a level, not your personal. So pray God that those universal cosmic biorhythm do not meet with your personal negative cosmic biorhythm, because you will be at the wrong place at the wrong time and you will not make it. Now, some people blame me, say, well, you're negative, you never had good news. And don't blame me for you. Not, I don't want to upset you, but don't blame me for the world's stupidity, for the lack of ignorance, for them to believe that God came down and wrote the Bible. Okay, or for those atheists who are educated idiots and completely reject the value, the beauty, and the cosmic work of all the erudite men of the past, those who build the pyramids, those who build all these edifices that are directly lined up with the constellations. My friend, there is so much more about you, and you are not just, as always says, made of bone, flesh, and nerves. You're a human being. You're born with an incredible power inside of you that you haven't even, some of you don't even have the presence of mind, the présence d'esprit, as we say in French, to investigate, to delegate the superconscious in time and space. I wrote a nearly 600-page book called Beyond the Secret. In this book, I give you all the tips on how to use the power, because ultimately it comes down to this, my friend. Your future is nothing else than the reincarnation of your thought. So if you're negative, if you're depressed, if the world is a dirty place, if you have no faith about your life, if you have no hope for the future, if you are a pothead, if you don't believe in anything, if you depressed and negative, well, guess what? You're infected. I drink a beer and I am infected. It's not me anymore. The reptilians will use anything, drugs, alcohol, legal, illegal drugs. They will use greed. They will use anything and everything as long as they can hijack your body, your mind, and your soul and make you do stupid things, say stupid things negative. That's what they want. You are a dog, okay? And they are the fleas, put it this way. Okay, they need your blood, and your blood is your fear, your ignorance, your skepticism, your atheism, your religious fanaticism. Because the reptilians have created all religion, and they are infiltrated. They have infiltrated every pieces of our government, every area of our government. Remember, again, it's in the newsletter. I wrote a few newsletters, and the title is very obvious: Reptilians Universal Infestation. That's all I could write. Then, in August today, the reptilians universal infestation is taking place right in front of your eyes, because the coronavirus was fully predicted last August in my 2020 Nostradamus Dragon forecast. No, I'm not boosting my ego. Yeah, Dr. Jimmy, you're the best. Yeah, you predicted it. Who cares? Who gives a damn? But if you need to know the difference between fiction or reality and who to trust, unless you put your hand on this book and read it yourself. Excuse me. It's my words against yours. There is always a message in anything that happens. When I talk about something and I cough, it's a signal from the subconscious that you may want to take me seriously. Because we are talking about coronavirus, and it goes right into your respiratory system. This is what I saw. This is what I wrote. Again, unless you put your hand on the 2020 Nostradamus Dragon forecast, my friends, it's me to know and you to find out the sad way, the wrong way. Remember, anything and everything that happened to you, even coughing like I just did, is not an accident. There are no accidents. There are messages from the higher forces, from the superconscious in time and space. But not everybody is gifted or cursed, like in my case, to delegate the archetypal realm of supracosmic consciousness and translate it for you. People have been indoctrinated in so many ways, like the star behind me again. Oh, what is this star? These stars, I found it outside. Somebody trash it. I'm an astrologer. I'm into the stars. Common sense dictate. Apply critical thinking, my friend. That star was white. So if I put the white stars on my white wall, ain't gonna see nothing. So I painted black. So it stand apart. There is nothing magic, nothing negative, nothing hidden, nothing Illuminati with the star. It's just a star. And you're all made of stars. You are all children of those stars. And you are all responding to God cosmic design and God cosmic will. And unless you raise your cosmic vibration, understand all about your cosmic divinity and how God speaks to his children through the sign, unless you raise your cosmic consciousness, I will make no sense to you. That's why I'm using quatrain. This is why I'm using keywords to bypass the lack of information, the lack of cosmic design, the lack of cosmic awareness, that I have to use something that your five rational human senses can digest and operate with. My friend, take the time to read these newsletters, all associated with all my shows, including the one with Carrie Cassidy, a beautiful woman. And I hope she's going to have me again on her show in the future to talk more about the reptilians, the superconscious in time and space, make more predictions. Because by looking at the feedback, of course, you got a bunch of infected idiots out there who can only give me the thumb down because they don't vibrate at my cosmic speed, or yours for that matter. So they're insecure, they're jealous, God knows what, infected. But when you look at all the positiveness that comes out of this show and what it can do to help you to fight this nasty coronavirus, well, it makes my day, put it this way. So I'm going to be on the air also tonight. Only half an hour, never did such a very short show. But Maloney's Mac told me that, this is just an introduction. I guess he doesn't want to handle idiots out there who can't control their imagination. So maybe you want to test me for 30 minutes, and then we're going to go from there for a much bigger show later on. So that's what I have. It's in the newsletter. Click on the link. Again, remember, share my vision. Okay, this is a SOS to the world, deadly plutonic window. A lot of you are not going to make it, and I want you to make it. We're all in this big world together. It's by being negative, if by being reptilians infected, you're not doing good for yourself or for the rest of the world. That's why it's important to control any form of negativity that comes into your brain. Because if you're negative, depressed, and everything else that I mentioned earlier, you got to accept the fact you're infected. Okay, not only infected by the reptilians, but that lead to other type of infection. Now, remember, wherever that virus came from, in Asia out there, sanitization, it's not a priority. Air pollution is on the extreme. People get sick. And the very people today who have coronavirus are mating. They are having sex. Okay? So how can I pass this on to you without losing you? Those malignant creation created by the reptilians are now going to go into not only the bloodstream, but the genes of the young mothers who are going to produce more of children that will be naturally prone to get other disease. Remember, if you take drugs, legal or illegal, if you're depressed, if you're negative, a magnet will attract a piece of wood, okay? Those young ladies are going to have babies, and in the gestation process, the reptilians are going to go into the womb of that young mother, manipulate the genes, and that's where you have a myriad of diseases that are not necessarily understood by science. So, Down syndrome, they give you their rationale. I give you mine. The reptilians manipulate the genes. Autism and other diseases, including the creation of gays and lesbians. Okay? And that has nothing to do, again, with me hating gays and lesbians, because I do have student, client, and friends that are very smart and very beautiful human beings, like you and me, that are gays and lesbian. It's in their genes. So to hate a gay or lesbian person means how stupid you are yourself, because you do not understand or cannot conceive that those people have been victimized by energy-driven forces they can't understand. Yet they feel they have the same color of blood than you have. They are human beings. They are sensitive. They are very smart. They are creative. They are everything that you are, if not more, for that matter. So there is no right for anyone to judge anyone because of his race, color, sexual preferences, It's all preset. It's all preset by those entities who have manipulated the gene of those humans and turned them into a life of nightmare, negativity, confusion, conflicts, etc. Or all that they need to survive with your fears, ignorance, and stupidity in dark matter and still curse our world. Now, for the time being, I'd like you to, again, read all the details, check all my future predictions because I gave dates and there are going to be a few newsletters with all the proof of my work. Okay? And as always, please, my friend, share it. Help me pass on information that are not allowed by the US Department of Education to reach your children, and they are not even acceptable to very, very few indoctrinated people or atheist educated idiots or reject the divine. So for the time being, not sure when I come back, a few days from now, but enjoy this video, read the newsletter, share my work, and be very careful. You are now into the red zone, into the world of the reptilians with this SOS to the world deadly plutonic window. And the future has and will always prove to be my utmost faithful witness. Until then, be safe and make it a beautiful day. Bye-bye.